Here is the first one. There was actually a poll that was just released October 7th. Let's see the latest. I thought there was one that just came out. Yeah, it looks like October 3rd, the Investors Business Daily one. And this one's notable because they claim to be the most accurate poll around, that they've correctly predicted many elections. I don't know if it's true. Maybe it's just their marketing. But what do we notice here with the IBD poll, the Investor Business Daily poll? Well, the first thing is that we are tied with Harris, according to this poll. So as you look at previous polls, you'll see we are often behind Harris. So economists 5 to 7, Monmouth economists 3 to 5, 3 for Yang, 5 Harris. Monmouth 2 to 5, Harris advantage. Politico 3 to 6, Harris advantage. And let's see. Basically, I think if we go back in time, there's never been a point where we were tied with Harris. Sometimes we were within 1 point of her, but this IBD poll is the first time we've come tied. So that is momentum, or as Shingblad would say, Yangmentum. Oh, okay. So first time ever tied with Harris. However, let's keep it real, guys. We're tied with Harris, but Harris is not exactly setting records, okay? She's at 3. And so on the one hand, you're like, whoa, we're tied with someone who used to be the hot hand. On the other hand, I think we are seeing her come on the way down. She's kind of like falling through the branches, and we're not on the top branch. Now, that said, the other thing that I will call out, if you look at the chart, let's see if we can get this chart going. My computer is, okay, here we go. Look at this, guys. Look at what we see here. What we are witnessing is the slow descent of Biden. And when he loses first place, that deceleration of Biden will only get worse and worse every day. Now, obviously, you've got President Trump spending a lot of airtime, calling a lot of question into Biden's and Biden's son. And here's the harsh reality, in my opinion. I don't know this for sure, but this is my guess. Family members of elected officials in Washington often get invited to sit on boards of companies that want to get access. And I think Hunter Biden participated in that. I don't think he's the first person to do it. I don't think he broke any laws, but it is representative of how Washington works for many, many decades. And in my opinion, it's another reason why it's time for a change. And last election, we definitely got a change, but we brought in someone who's kind of narcissistic, who's not super cerebral, doesn't like to read, but is a great showman. And I think this time we can bring someone in who's from the outside, who wants to solve problems, who takes a fresh approach, who likes data, who likes logic and facts, and who's willing to listen. So anyway, the main thing here is we're witnessing history. I think in the next week or two, Biden will no longer be the front runner. And if I had to guess, I'm not even sure if he's going to stay in the race past South Carolina. He may see the writing on the wall if he doesn't perform well in those primaries, and I don't think he will. And he will have given it the college try. I hope he doesn't hang around for the whole thing, only to kind of distract while other people are trending upwards. The other thing I will point out is, hold on one second. Get rid of this. Let me show you something that I tweeted out earlier, which is a really cool chart. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, this is, by the way, a quick moment. This is latest art from my son, Brandon. If Trump is a pair of scissors cutting countries apart, then I am freaking rock. And then he puts on the bottom with a little asterisk, as usual, everyone knows rock beats scissors. So Brandon, the Yang Gang artist, strikes again. He asked me, what's Warren? And I said, I think Warren's paper. I think scissors will slice the crap out of Warren, unfortunately. Even if she means well, I don't think she'll hold up well against the Donald. But that's not the chart I want to show you. Here it is. Okay. So this is the Real Clear Politics average. So this takes a running last 2 weeks of polling data. And it unfortunately the data is cut off, but it's the last 3 months. So it goes September, August, July, or July, August, September from left to right. Now, what you'll notice here is, look at that Harris chart. That is not a good looking chart. That is basically Biden is about to get on that train. And in this business, I think campaigns are like startups. Like, you want to bet on the one with momentum. Wired Mindset. Who made this chart in MS Paint? Hey, come on now, Wired. It's not artists for Yang. Shoot. It's nerds for Yang, man. Any rate, so you see Harris downward trend. You see Pete, well, he's kind of bumpy, but he's certainly not on fire. You see Beto, kind of slow death. You see Booker's really taking it hard, not in a good way. And then there's that clump. And remember, we were always in the clump. But then you look at that beautiful, like bluish green color, Andrew MF Yang. That is a stock I would buy. That is a trend you want to be on. Now, of course, would we like it if the slope of the line were higher? Of course we would, but I figured I'd just share that with you. So in summary, when it comes to the polls, I think the key takeaway is we are about to witness the parting of ways with Biden. And, I don't know what Hunter did. I don't know if it was legal or illegal, but not only is it going to be something like an albatross around Biden's neck, but the way Biden has handled it has not been good. I mean, he's kind of like a turtle on his back, like he's trying to put up a fight, but it's not really working. And I guess the real question will be, how does Biden perform in the next debate? Because if he has another record player moment, or he just gets confused or tired, it's only going to accelerate the descent. Now, we cannot ignore the fact that this is going to be a Warren Yang final. Those will be the final two. I do not believe that Sanders, obviously with the heart attack, this is only kind of confirming everybody's worst fears. The guy's 78. You got to give him credit for fighting this long, but 78's not an age that typically is representative of the kind of capabilities and stamina and energy, immune system, cognitive capabilities that are required to run a very intense race and then serve as president of the United States for 4 to 8 years. Now, Buttigieg he's just a stubborn one, man. Buttigieg is probably, unfortunately, not going to go away. He's probably going to stick around for a long time. That mofo raised less than he did last quarter, but last quarter he raised 25. So the fact that he raised, I think it was 19, like that dude, he's like that startup that just raised a shit ton of money and is not going anywhere for a long time. But then the rest, I think Harris, O'Rourke, Booker, I don't think we really need to worry about them. So that's it for the national polls. Let me take a look at Iowa while we're here and go into the state polls. You've got Yang at 2, but this poll is September 18th, so we might be doing much better than that. So I wouldn't read into that Iowa poll. Let's see if there's a recent New Hampshire poll. We've got one from September 29th. Yang at 2, Gabbard at 3. So Steve Marchand, you got your work cut out for you. I know you're going to pull off an upset, but you don't need to make it this surprising. South Carolina. What's Jermaine up to? What's the doctor up to? 1. Eek. And this one was from October 2nd. Now you could argue, well, Beto is only at 0. Okay. Booker at 3, even though you would think he'd be stronger given the African-American community and African-American vote, but 41 for Biden. Okay. So here, guys, here's why South Carolina is interesting. Because if Biden stumbles and begins a slow descent as we expect, it's like tossing up all the cards in the air for South Carolina, and those 41 need to go somewhere. Are those 41 that are currently supporting Biden, are they really all going to go to Warren? Elizabeth Warren? I don't know. I think Warren typically has had a lot of difficulty with the African-American vote. So it might be more of a battle for the Biden support between probably not Sanders because of health concerns. So it'll be between Harris, Buttigieg, Booker, and Yang. Now, I hesitate to call BS on Warren's abilities in South Carolina because Yang has not demonstrated a great ability to attract the African-American vote either. But I guess what I'm saying is if you're worried about South Carolina, know that the game is about to be reset because in the last week, we've had Sanders get a heart attack and we're going to have Biden lose his number 1 position. And what's the number 1 reason why people support Biden is because they think he can win. And the moment he loses his number 1 position, all of a sudden the emperor has no clothes. So sorry for that visual, people. What about Nevada? Nevada is another early state. We have a poll from September 26th, and we have Yang at 3. Now look at this. Look at Steyer, dude. This is why we all thank you to everybody who gave to the campaign and why we need to keep giving and raising money because freaking Steyer is a perfect example of someone who does not have a strong following and has just spent millions and millions of dollars on paid advertising. And that's what you get. I mean, imagine if Yang had spent as much money as Steyer on marketing, we'd be at like 12 by now. But anyway, so Steyer is going to be causing trouble. And then in California, which this year will come a little earlier, come in March 3rd, we've got September 25th is the last one, Yang at 3. So interesting. Wow, he was at 7 on a couple of polls. And that was that one, the Emerson one. Man, Emerson loves Yang. I don't know who they're calling, but whatever. It seems to be either Emerson's way off and everybody's else is right, or maybe Emerson's the one polling company that's got a better handle on the election. Okay, so that is the polls. And now I'm going to move on to Twitter. So right now you've got Warren. I'm only comparing